guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Heroes Show. I got a jam-packed episode for you this week. This despite the fact that I may struggle to lift one or two little things. I had some new tattoos put on the arms this week, well, about an hour ago. Batman related one, Naruto one being started, finishing off the Daredevil one. Get as many tattoos in before the wee one arrives in 10 weeks time. But yeah, no, store-wise, everything's going great. Nice busy week once again, nice busy weekend. Store-wise, I finished the Marvel section, which I'm really pleased about. It only took me about 6 weeks. But essentially, Marvel snakes all the way around now. We've also organised all the ones underneath, repriced everything, reorganised everything, retabbed everything. I must have brought anywhere in the region of 1,000 issues down from upstairs. So Marvel is now here. Dynamite, Dark Horse, and IDW are against the wall along with the comic packs. And then over the next week or two, I'm planning to get started on the DC section. So again, looking to get as many issues down as possible and make sure the most choice in the store as opposed to on the website. So so that'll be a work in progress, the DC one. So keep your eye out for that. But Marvel is good to go and there's a lot of really, really good stuff in there. Delivery in as normal this week. So I'll be taking you through pull lists. So we'll be taking you through new items into the store as ever. We also got the first box back from CGC. We have around 100 issues away at the moment. There are some issues still to come back to us. Most of them, if not all of them, have been graded at this point. But the first box is arrived back, which is 25. So if you've got stuff with us, we'll drop you a message, let you know that it's in store and ready for pickup. If you haven't received a message the next day or two, it just means that what's been sent away is in the other boxes. But again, they should be coming back to us on a rolling basis over the next couple of weeks. But we got a lot of good stuff in for the store and some really good grades back as well. So just give you a small taste. So for example, we have Moon Knight #1 in stock, 9.8. So again, the first appearance of Mr. Knight, obviously heavily utilized in the recent Marvel show. So yeah, this is Warren Ellis and Declan Shelby, so 9.8 there. A more recent first appearance, again another 9.8, so Black Panther #3. This is the first appearance of Tosin Udu as well. So again, 9.8, good to go. We have another 9.8. Now this one is a fourth printing, but this is the first appearance of the Spider-Gwen. So Gwen Stacy, Edge of Spider-Verse #2. So again, this is the fourth printing, so different colored banner. It'll always say at the bottom as well. But again, a 9.8. There was a Something is Killing the Children Secret Ashcan issue. I don't know if you can see the indentation on the cover there if I move it, which is the symbol for the House of Slaughter. But again, this was a 1 per store bonus issue that was sent out to us. And again, sent off, 9.8. And then one more that I got back as well. This is Tony Stark Iron Man. This is an Alex Ross cover, and this was at the time, now this came out in 2018, we weren't long open. But what this is this is a 1 to 200 variant. And again, 9.8. So it's essentially Iron Man 601, although it's down as Tony Stark Iron Man #1. First appearance of Andy Bang, Fin Fang Foom, and controller appearance as well. And again, 1 to 200 for the ratio there. So that is that. So again, these will all be being priced up in the next couple of days and going up into the store. There's more stuff we're waiting on coming back, both for customers and for the store. So again, just check out the walls next time you're in, or the display cases. There will be new graded comics coming in. I'm looking forward to getting those out. In terms of the variant section, so again, just to take you through some of the variants that came in this week. It seemed to be a relatively popular new addition. Now, we haven't had a chance to up orders for a lot of variants, so you'll probably start to see this section expand a little bit in the next few weeks as we get to grips with pre-ordering and making sure that we can get variants for certain issues. So you'll see that more and more, but I'll take you through what we have this week anyway. The first one that is up is actually what's called a body bag variant, a very subtle way of saying a polybagged variant. But this is for House of Slaughter #6, which is back this week. So of course this is James Tynion IV. Continuing on with this, continuing his expansion of the Something is Killing the Children universe. I don't know what's on the inside of this. I have one for myself at home, so maybe I'll find out. Another one this week is Mighty Thor 25. We got the J. Scott Campbell variant covers in. J. Scott Campbell normally so much more well known for his Spider-Man variants, for his female variants, shall we say, but a rather good one here for Thor. We have the Scarecrow woven Venom Lethal Protector as well, so issue 2, brilliant art on that one, really a big fan of that. The copies we arrived in as well are pretty minty, which is nice because when you get a full black cover like this, you always worry that there might be spine ticks or bends or whatever, but again, looks pretty minty. We have what looks like a really cool old, this is a John Tyler Christopher cover, I believe. And this is an old one for Spider-Punk. Looks like an old Punk poster, which I think is really, really cool, incorporating the skulls in there as well. We have Batman Superman World's Finest #3. This is a Lucio Perillo. Always this gorgeous painted artwork for Perillo covers. And again, you've got Superman, Batman, and the Batman Who Laughs in there. We have a nice homage cover for Shadow Warzone. I love the corner box. Like DC, can we have corner boxes back, please? Marvel are starting to do it more and more with the corner boxes. Admittedly, they're mostly older series, things like Silver Surfer, Rebirth, or things like Wolverine Patch, but I love this effect. But again, of course, a very classic homage cover to X-Men there. A series that we finally got our variants in for. These are what are called reveal variants. And there was a series came out called Alice Ever After from Dan Ponazan. And J. Scott Campbell again did variants for this, but they were supposed to arrive the week of release, but they didn't. Issue 2's out this week, but we got the issue 1's in as well. So this is the issue 1 variant, again, J. Scott Campbell. And then sort of a variant, sort of not, but it's not a regular issue, so I thought I'd throw it in here. This is a great series from Source Point Press. This is called Good Boy. Just imagine John Wick, but if instead of John Wick dying, instead of the dog dying and John Wick going on a massive revenge-filled spree, imagine that it's John Wick that dies and the dog goes on a killing spree. So really great stuff with that. So that's the variants in this week. As I say, I'm going to be looking to expand the amount of variants we get in. There's clearly an audience for it. A lot of you guys are always asking after variants and so forth, and we always want to make sure we get in what everyone's looking for. So, but that's the variants for this week. Let's take on a wee bit of news next year before moving on to sort of the new releases this week. And I'm delighted that a lot of the news this week that I've managed to come across, things that have certainly interested us in the store, are all comic based. So first of all, there was the confirmation this week from Marvel. They are slightly sad news, unfortunately, but they are confirming that Conan the Barbarian is leaving the publisher. Now, they've not long had Conan the Barbarian back, so it's a little bit annoying this, because Jason Aaron was doing such great work, Jim Zub was doing such great work, so it is a little bit of a shame to see that is the case, but I'll be curious to see where it finds a new home. I mean, Dark Horse had the license before, but I think a lot of Conan stuff is in the public forum. You'll have seen variations of Conan with Ablaze Comics, with Cimmerian, for example, but now it just looks like it might be a wee bit of a free-for-all. What else have we got here? So what we have is a massive Spider-Man event coming up soon. This was announced this week as well. So Spider-Man is officially turning 60 this year. So in August 2022, that's going to be the 60th anniversary of Amazing Fantasy 15. So for that, there's going to be two major tribute issues. So first of all, you've got a massive oversized issue. I'd love to know how Marvel came up with this number. I blame DC for this. But Amazing Fantasy 1000. So what that's going to be is an oversized anthology issue, which features stories from people like Dan Slott, Jonathan Hickman, Rainbow Rowell, as well as Anthony Falcone. Neil Gaiman is writing as well. In terms of art, you've got Olivier Coipel, you've got Michael Cho, you've got Terry Dodson, you've got Jim Chang, you've got John Romita Jr. So it says here that the stories in Amazing Fantasy 1000 won't necessarily focus on the beginnings of Spidey's superhero career. Some of them will flash forward in time, some of them will be sideways story. So you've got that, which is pretty cool. But also what you've got is Edge of Spider-Verse Volume 2. So I just showed off Edge of Spider-Verse 2, of course, which was the debut of Spider-Gwen. But there's going to be Edge of Spider-Verse 2. Now this is going to introduce 5 new spider heroes, so get ready for the speculators to jump all over this. Again, this is going to launch in August. We'll probably see more of this in the next previews book as well. But I would say a lot of people will be interested in that. As I say, it'll be introducing new spider characters, so get those first appearance orders in for that. A couple of DC ones. You've got Superman's Perry White is getting his own DC comic. This makes me very happy simply because this is an extension of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, which is one of the most criminally underrated DC titles of recent years. I'm nearly sure we have the graphic over there. We've got the single issues in a full pack as well. A really irreverent, fun take on Jimmy Olsen and the part he plays in Superman's life. Well, now they're doing a one-shot, Superman's Perry White, and again, same creative team involved. Next up from DC, Human Target, which of course is a brilliant series. This is coming from Tom King and Greg Smallwood. There's going to be a one-shot coming soon as well. This is obviously to plug the gap in between the little break that it's having. I mean, Human Target's been fantastic, primarily for Greg Smallwood's art. Tom King's writing's no slouch either. But yeah, this little one-shot will just bridge the gap a little bit between issue 6 and issue 7. And again, because it's going to be a 12-issue mini-series, so 1 to 6 is volume 1, 7 to 12 volume 2. But yeah, a little bit more Human Target I'm not going to complain about, as the weight is a little bit unbearable for that. Another one that caught my eye, because he's one of my favourite Batman artists, is Libra Mayo. Now, Libra Mayo was the artist on Joker. He was the artist on Batman Damned. He's been pumping out ridiculously gorgeous covers, which I've been showing off here for Detective Comics for a while. But he's actually coming back now to do one called Dear Detective. Now, it's an interesting one because I'm such a fan of his. You'd think it would be very heavily art-based. But what this is actually a prose tale. It's called Batman Dear Detective, a 56-page graphic novella that repurposes many of Bermejo's previous Batman covers to tell a new story. Now, I spoke about this before, that in Detective Comics variants, he said that there was a story you could piece together if you put it in the right order. So he's basically doing this now, but writing the prose to go along with it. So in a weird way, I could put this story together in advance and see if it's the exact same as what is eventually released. Or it might be completely different to what is released and what's in Bermejo's head, but I'll have to wait and see. But anything that showcases Lee Bermejo art, I am all over. Away from comics, just one thing caught my eye this week was Amazon Prime releasing the full trailer for the 3rd season of The Boys. So great TV show, brilliant adaptation, even better books, but a great adaptation. And it's going to return on June 3rd, so it's only a few weeks away. And it's going to be 3 episodes drop on that day, and then it's going to go weekly after that. I know a lot of people have problems with the weekly format. You know, people are used to binge culture, people are used to full seasons. I've always explained it as if you dump a whole season, that thing's the hottest thing in the world for maybe a weekend. But by the next weekend, people are talking about something else because something else has come along to replace it. Whereas if you release something weekly, it keeps people talking about it, keeps it in the public consciousness, it keeps it in the pop culture pantheon. And therefore it's going to hopefully do better, it's going to spread the word, and then hopefully that means they get to make more of it. So at least with this one, you're getting a couple of episodes to binge at the start, but then in the long term, you're watching it weekly, you're hopefully keeping it more in the public eye, as I say, and then hopefully leads to more. So in the new season, Homelander's subdued while Butcher works for the government and is supervised by Huey. Both managed to turn this peace and quiet into blood and bone. So yeah, have a little look at that trailer because it looks fantastic. So that is The Boys Season 3. But we'll move away from that and we'll go on to my pull list this week. So now on to the pull list section of the show. So all my titles here, as always, the usual raft of DC, Marvel, Indie, little bit of everything. So for me this week, these are all the standout issues. So first of all, you've got a title called Breakout. This was a wonderful issue 1. This is issue 2. It's from Zach Kaplan and Wilton Santos. Thought it was an absolutely excellent first issue. I'm going to be, I'm pretty sure it was my pick of the week it came out. So I'm going to be recording on the podcast about that, hopefully in the next week or so. Getting some more reviews and stuff out there. But wonderful first issue. I think we may have 1 or 2 issue 1s left. So if you are looking to get into it, heavily recommend it. Next up, we have from Larry Hamna, we have Wolverine Patch. So issue 2 then of the sort of classic era Wolverine set series. Issue 1 was a ton of fun of that as well. Sneaking its way into this pile, even though it's not mine, is Wolverine number 21. This is a Vicky title. Next up, we have Venom Lethal Protector number 2. So again, you're seeing a little bit of a pattern here with the Marvel stuff. You know, they're enjoying the sort of 90s era set titles. You have Ben Reilly as well, you have Silver Surfer Rebirth. So now we have Venom Lethal Protector, and again, this is issue 2 with David Michelini coming back on that. First issue was a blast. Thor, we have Banner of War Part 2. So I sat and read the one-shot the other day, which was Banner of War, and it was a really good intro. It did well at bringing you back up to date with everything that's happened in Hulk so far and everything that's happened in Thor so far. Both titles, of course, are written by Donny Cates, so it makes sense that he would catch you up on both, and then he's going to be writing this series as well. So this is the first part. Well, I suppose the first part was the one shot, but this is the first part of the crossover, shall we say, and it's Thor 25, so there's that. This actually came out last week, but I didn't have quite enough copies for myself, so Moon Knight, Black, White and Blood. So again, we're continuing with the anthology set series. Jonathan Hickman, Chris Bacallo doing a story, Mark Guggenheim, Jorge Fornes. Some great creators involved, and then that beautiful Bill Sienkiewicz cover as well. No doubt riding high, and one of the titles of the week, as it always is when it comes out, is Nightwing. So Nightwing 92. So we have Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, continuing the Lord's work with that. We have Batman, Superman, World's Finest, The Devil Made Me Do It, issue 3. Issue 2 of this was a blast as well. It focused heavily on Doom Patrol. I'm loving this sort of era set. I mean, this, in a weird way, it's not officially set back in 90s continuity or anything like that, but it's very much at the start of the Batman-Superman relationship. It's got early Dick Grayson, it's got a younger Supergirl, so it sort of exists outside of main DC canon at the moment and is stronger for it. Another one is Batman of the Night, so Chip Zdarsky and Carmine Di Domenico. Again, been loving this early exploration into Bruce's sort of formation as Batman, if you will. And we're up to issue 5 of 10, so we're reaching the midpoint there. Next up is a site I'll have to get used to in about 10 weeks' time. We have The Walking Dead. We're up to issue 39. So, of course, Robert Kirkman, Charlie Adlard, Dave McKeag on colours. I really wish this had have had that perfect synchronicity and it had been the week that RE1 was due, that this was the cover. But no doubt it'll be something extremely violent and horrifying instead that week when it comes out. Next up is Joe Hill's Reign, to give it its full title. But of course, this is adapted by David M. Boer from Joe Hill's book, and beautiful art every time by Zoe Thorogood as well. This is the last issue of that, and I do believe there is a hardcover graphic novel on the way for that as well. House of Slaughter number 6, I had mentioned it in the variant section, of course, but we're continuing back with this side project for Something Is Killing the Children. We got the trades back in stock this week, which again I'll go into in a second, which will catch you up issues 1 to 5, and then that's your jumping on point for single issues. And then we finish off with Hit Me. This is an AWA title from Krista Faust and Priscilla Petriates. So it was basically the writer of Redemption and the artist of Chariot, so you knew it was going to be good. 3 issues in, very much an adult title to say the least, but been really, really good as well. So yeah, that's the stuff that's on my pull list. Of course, there's stuff outside of that as well, which you can check out from the store or check out the social media accounts when I upload the photos on the Wednesday, just to keep you up to date. But yeah, that's what made it onto my pull list. But what else did we get in this week? Let's find out. So onto the section, what's new into the store this week. So went big on graphic novels this week, got a lot of good stuff in. There's a couple of big omnibuses. There's a much, requested manga back in stock from volume 1. There's some great trade paperbacks. There's a lot of new stuff, and again, a lot of topping up of older stuff. So we'll kick things off with this. This is an oversized Aftershock graphic novel called Shock Treatment. So basically what this is Aftershock have been putting out these quarterly oversized horror anthology issues, and this is essentially collecting them all together. So I mean, involved in this you've got Cullen Bunn, Peter Milligan, Simon Kudransky, Peter Kowalski. There's some great stuff put all together here. So they were basically called, one was called Piecemeal, one was called God of Tremors, and 10 Years to Death is the other one as well. So it's a lovely addition what they've done. It's sort of black label in size because they're always released as magazine size anthology tales. But if you want it all in one place, that is where you want to be. Next up we have a big bad boy. So this is Star Wars by Jason Aaron. So nice big omnibus just released this week. This is essentially from the 2015 run of Star Wars, and this contains a lot of stuff. You've got Star Wars 1 to 37. You've got the annual 1 to 3, so 3 annuals in there. You've got Vader Down number 1. You have 3 issues of Darth Vader that crossed over, 2 issues of Dr. Aphra that crossed over, Star Wars The Screaming Citadel number 1 as well. So, I mean, you're talking the guts of 45 plus issues in there, so very comprehensive and certainly a must for any Star Wars fan. Next up is a hardcover that I'm looking forward to tucking into myself. This was a title that I read, issue 1 and 2, and then unfortunately, being as silly as I am sometimes, I gave up my own issues for someone else. But I've been waiting for it to come out because a hardcover was released, was solicited at that point. This is a title called Primordial, and this is from Jeff Lemire and Andres Sorrentino. So that is the team behind the amazing Gideon Falls. And it was a 6-issue miniseries that sort of dealt with conspiracy theories. Dave Stewart on colours, I should mention as well. In 1957, the USSR made history by launching a dog named Laika into Earth's orbit. 2 years later, the USA responded with 2 monkeys, Abel and Baker. These animals never returned, but unbeknownst to everyone, they did not die in orbit. They were taken, and now they're coming home. I was really enjoying it. I'm a huge fan of Andrea Sorrentino's art as well, so that's going quite high up my pile this week. Another omnibus in this week, but a slightly thinner one, but it's one for all you She-Hulk fans. This is She-Hulk by Peter David. So this again is collecting his run, which went across a couple of different volumes and a couple of different titles. So you have She-Hulk 22 to 38, She-Hulk Cosmic Collision, X-Factor issues, Sensational She-Hulk issues, and material from She-Hulk Sensational as well. So Again, there's obviously an upcoming Disney Plus show for She-Hulk. This is the kind of run that you'll want to familiarize yourself with before that comes out. Next up, I have that much requested manga back in stock. So we got a couple of copies of this. So Berserk, the deluxe edition, volume 1. So again, I think I've spoke about it on here before. I've pre-ordered all of these, but they're coming out in really random times. So it's just when they're in stock, they get sent to me. But I was delighted to receive a couple of number 1s this week as well. So will of course be in the manga section. Another hardcover in this week, which is quite an interesting one. This comes from the team of Neil Gaiman and Colleen Doran. This is called Chivalry. So this is released through Headline Comics. And this is essentially a delightfully humorous and charming graphic novel adaptation of a Neil Gaiman short story. An elderly widow buys what turns out to be the Holy Grail from a second-hand shop, setting her off on an epic adventure with a knight who brings her gifts of ancient relics in hope of winning the cup. So a customer had requested that off me. So I ordered it in for him, and when I saw the creative talent involved, I thought it would be worth ordering a few of those in for the store. Another epic collection for you as well. Of course, I'm just talking about She-Hulk, so here she comes again. This one is an epic collection called Breaking the Fourth Wall. This is volume 3 in the She-Hulk run, so this is 1989 to 1990. So this has the entire sensational She-Hulk run from John Byrne. You have She-Hulk ceremony issues, material from Solo Avengers, Marvel Comics Presents, and Marvel Fanfare as well. So this was basically the start of her second solo series. So perfect jumping on point there. We've been getting these in every week or every couple of weeks the last few weeks. So this is continuing the Sandman volumes. So we're up to volume 4 now of Sandman. This brings it to the end. This is issues 57 to 75. And also a couple of short stories, one from Vertigo Jam and Dust Covers, the collected Sandman covers as well. Next up, we have I'm Getting Hellblazer in again from the start. So we kick things off with volume 1. These are beautiful Vertigo, well, they were Vertigo editions. They're now DC editions. Essentially, they fall under Black Label. But yeah, this is going right back to the start of Constantine. So this has the tie-in stories from Swamp Thing 76-77, as well as the first 9 issues of John Constantine Hellblazer. So great place to start. There is a good sort of 25 plus volumes of that. So I'm going to be ordering those in a couple at a time. Next up, I got the Avengers, West Coast Avengers in. This is called Family Ties. So this is the West Coast Avengers fighting demons, robots, zombies, and more in this collection of 80s extravaganzas. The Grim Reaper wants his brother dead, and Ultron wants his father dead, leaving the Vision and Scarlet Witch between two bloodlines, getting blurrier by the minute. Guest starring the Rangers and the ever-loving Blue-Eyed Thing, plus Wonder Man in a role that will surprise you. So this is West Coast Avengers 1985, 1 to 9, and also a couple of issues of Vision and the Scarlet Witch. Next up, we continue the West Coast Avengers idea with Darker Than Scarlet. So this one again is obviously with all the hype around Doctor Strange, around WandaVision and so forth, we wanted to get in some more and more Scarlet Witch stuff. So after months of trauma, Wanda Maximoff suffers a nervous breakdown and descends into madness. Manipulated by Magneto, Wanda has turned on her teammates. Can the West Coast Avengers save her sanity and themselves? So this is Avengers West Coast 53 to 64 plus an annual, Avengers 3 to 11 to 313, and material from the Avengers annual 19 as well. On the trade paperback side of things, we've got The Good Asian Volume 2. I just recently finished reading this recently. This is absolutely brilliant storytelling. For anybody who's a fan of noir or movies like Chinatown, this is an absolute must. It was 10 issues in total. We've got Volume 1s on the shelves, which is issues 1 to 5. Volume 2 completes the tale, 6 to 10. We have Nita Hawes' Nightmare blog, Volume 1, The Fire Next Time. So we talked about the spin-off of Something Is Killing the Children being House of Slaughter. This is the spin-off from Philadelphia. I always pitch it to people as Philadelphia deals with vampires, Nightmare blog deals with demons, and again has been absolutely brilliant. Been a single issue collector of that. We have Popstar Assassin. This is from Behemoth Comics. The year is 1977. The king is dead and the world mourns, but when a mysterious briefcase turns up in his dressing room, Bruce, a coke-addled Elvis impersonator, finds himself wedged between a mob boss and to avenge the death of his only son, and a government conspiracy with far-reaching, world-ending ramifications. So, interesting there. We have Alien back in stock from this week. So this is the Marvel Alien stuff. So this is Alien Bloodlines, which collects issues 1 to 6 of Alien. Again, I always worried they would skimp on the gore and the blood and the horror of the Alien series, but they really haven't so far, so that has been great. We have House of Slaughter, aforementioned, so Again, issues 1 to 5. This storyline is called The Butcher's Mark. And again, this is your introduction to the first 6 issues. Always well priced, 11 quid from Boom Studios. Something That's Killing the Children Volume 4 back in stock as well. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's always hard keeping this on the shelves and in stock because it just sells so well. And there's reason for that. It's class. So Volume 4, the latest one there. We have Hawkeye Kit Bishop, a nice 5-issue miniseries, or Kit Bishop, depending on how you pronounce it. This was a 5-issue miniseries by Mariek Newcamp, Enid Ballum, Oren Jr., Brittany Peer, and Chris Peter as well. And this follows pretty much Kate Bishop there. You have another great miniseries, which is Captain America Iron Man. This is from Derek Landy, Angel Unzueta as well. And I thought this was great, and I don't often say anything involving Iron Man is great. Highest compliment I can give that. We have another epic collection. This one is Operation Galactic Storm. This is an Avengers epic collection. This focuses on early 90s stuff, the Kree-Shi'ar War. So volume 22, 1992. And this covers the Avengers in the run around 340 onwards. But it's a lot of crossovers involved in this. So you have Avengers, Avengers West Coast, Quasar, Wonder Man, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and other materials. So it's a real crossover one, that. We have the next volume in for the Amazing Spider-Man Beyond. I believe this finishes it off. Yep, this takes you up to issue 93. So all 4 volumes of Amazing Spider-Man Beyond we have in stock, and that's the entire story, which of course was the Patrick Gleason. It was sort of the Spider writers' room, if you will, all coming together to do one big story. Then finish things off. First of all, we have an interesting one called Yellow Cab. This is based on the novel by Benoit Cohen. I have a copy of this myself. I started reading the first maybe 30 or 40 pages last night. It's essentially to do with a filmmaker who has been making movies for 20 years. He's a bit burned out, feels a bit detached from reality and human stories. So he decides he's going to drive a taxi cab around New York for a year and just get to know people, get to see like human life on a day-to-day basis. Lovely art to it as well, and I'm really enjoying that so far. And then, well, one last one, although this isn't new this week. This actually came out last week, but we just got top-ups. And this is the Avengers. This is the 2nd volume of the Mighty Marvel Masterworks, which covers Avengers 11 to 20 as well. So yeah, all of these will be on the racks and going out this week, of course. A couple of things just to finish off with today. So first of all, just your weekly reminder for the Ram V signing. So June 11th, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock in store. Completely free signing for that. And then we're also hopefully going to be dropping a new podcast tomorrow, which is a new creator interview that we did last week with genuinely one of the best people we've ever spoken to. It's a writer for Marvel, and she was absolutely fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to releasing that one as well. So yeah, that's going to do it for us this week as ever. So if you see anything that grabs your attention, just let us know. Just get in touch. We're always happy to hold things as ever. Or if there's any titles that look good, you want to get added to pull lists, etc., just get in touch and let us know. So, but anyway, in the meantime, I'll look forward to seeing you guys in stores sometime soon, I'm sure. Hope you're staying safe out there, and take it easy.